Hey all, welcome back to episode 15 of 365 Days to a Better You, where all year long I'll be bringing you daily tips, strategies, and inspiration to live a smart, better life and your best year ever. So today I want to talk about the power of a positive no. We hear this, right? We hear power of positive no, and saying no is just as important as what you say yes to, if not more important. And set your boundaries, have the ability to tell people what you will and won't do. But what does that really look like? So I got really confused when I first started learning about this, and my first grasp of saying no and setting my boundaries felt really harsh. Like it felt like I still hadn't quite figured out the nuances of setting my boundaries and sticking to my values, and knowing how to do that in a way that was polite, where I felt good and I walked away feeling great, and the person who I was saying no to walked away feeling good and their self-esteem and their dignity still intact. And so my first thing I want to say is, let's break this down. Number one, know your values and know your priorities. This will help you determine what you say yes to and what you say no to. So if you don't know what's most important to you, what you value, what are the things that are important to you as far as your lifestyle, the way you live, the things that you don't want in your life, then set boundaries around those. And this helps you determine what your boundaries will be. And also your priorities. So if your priorities for 2020 are family, career, travel, then every time you get an opportunity to speak, to do a presentation, to take on another project at work, to volunteer in your community, you need to test that against your values and your priorities. And it might be something that you might be interested in doing at some point in the future, but if you said, no, my priorities this year are this, even if it's a good cause, even if it's something that you really might want to be involved in the future, if you're only saying yes to the things that you've prioritized clearly in your mind, you will be saying yes to all the things this year that will get you towards those goals and keep you in focus on your priorities. Number two, here is a little lesson that took me a while to learn. So I want to break this down, and if you want to take notes, feel free to do this. When we say no, there's a way to do this where we say no with compassion and with kindness and gratitude, and we also leave the other person's dignity intact. So what do I mean by this? Let me give you an example. Let's say someone sends you an email and says, can I pick your brain about this? Or could you help me with this question? Could you jump on a call with me for 30 minutes and just tell me how you do your marketing? Maybe it's a team member at work, and that team member says, you know, I'm really having trouble with XYZ, or I'd like for you to jump on this initiative with me, or could you spearhead this new team? Stop for just a minute, compare it to your values and priorities, and then proceed like this. Thank you very much. So the very first response, the very first line in your email, the very first line in your phone call, and if you can deliver this face-to-face, it's even better. Your very first response is, thank you so much. Thank you so much for showing up and asking that question. Thank you so much for being interested in my work. Thank you so much for feeling like I have something to offer you and that you value what I do. So the very first thing that you do is show up with gratitude and acknowledge that person for taking time out of their day and actually having the courage to show up and ask for help, or ask a question, or ask for your advice. And then if you've tested it against your priorities and values, and you determine that this is something that you have to say no to, then you follow along with this. So the first thing is you say thank you. The second thing is, I understand and I appreciate that you value my work or you value what I can contribute, etc. So it's understanding. So the second thing is, I understand, I see you, I hear you. Then you go on to the third point. But I've determined that this year, my main priorities are going to be, and let's say my main priorities this year will be my speaking engagements, working on the book that I'm writing, and spending the rest of my time with my family. So list out your priorities, because the only thing that can happen with someone who would truly value you, when you list out your priorities and you state the reason I'm saying no, so you're giving your reason. The reason I'm saying no is because this year, these are my priorities and I need to stick to those priorities. What you will find is that people will respect you because you know who you are, you know your values, you're stating your priorities up front, and you might be saying no, not right now, and it might not mean no, not ever. It could mean no, not ever. But what they hear is that you know what you have time for, and you're thinking very carefully about the commitments that you're making so that you make time and room to fully commit to the things that you do say yes to. So that's extremely important. And I think that the people who don't respect you for this is probably not people that you probably would want to help in the first place, and they move on. But the people who really value you, who value your opinion, who value your work, they're going to realize that you are a person of integrity who does not make commitments unless you can follow through on them, and does not make commitments that go above and beyond your boundaries of what you've set out to do for the year, what you've set out to do in life, what you've set out to do that week or that month. And I think that's extremely important. And it becomes this really valuable interplay, and no becomes something more than just a no. It becomes more than just a door in the face. And it can actually even set the stage for your interactions from that point forward to be an opportunity where maybe you do end up working together. Maybe you do end up providing value to each other, and you're forging relationships and forging bonds with people who are interested in your work and who actually might be able to come back and collaborate and give something back to you later on. So you're not burning bridges, but you're also leaving that person in a place where they understand why, and they also will respect you for setting those boundaries and sticking to your goals and priorities, and will probably walk away holding you in even higher esteem than when they first met you. So that's my piece of advice today, is the power of a positive no, but actually, how does that look? How to execute that. So to recap that really quickly, know your priorities and values. If you have to sit down and write those out and think about them, like what's really important to me? What am I willing to say yes to? What do I want my lifestyle to look like? And what things are no's that don't fit in that? And then the second thing is that when it comes to saying the no, start with saying thank you. Acknowledge the other person, be grateful, and then the second step in that no is explain to them where you are and what's going on and why you have to say no. And then forge a bond in the last part of that communication of, but potentially sometime in the future, if you think that this is something that you might want to do, or compliment them and say, that's a really worthwhile project, or I'm really glad that you're doing that for the community. It's something that I believe in, even though I can't participate in it right now. So somehow compliment them, leave that person with their dignity, and I guarantee you these no's are going to have so much power in your life as a leader, as a team manager, as a parent, as a spouse, as a community member. Try it out. Try it this week. I want to hear back from you and see how that works for you. And this week, remember that we're having our Target $50 Target gift card giveaway. until 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's New York Standard Time on the East Coast of the United States. And the way that you can win points is to follow me on Instagram or Facebook at the Annie Bauer, like a post, tag a friend. So the more friends that you tag, you get a point for every single friend that you tag. And comment if you'd like. You also get a point for a comment. And your comments, what I'd really like to hear is, which posts have you loved the most? What really resonated with you out of this particular message? Or what would you like for me to talk about in the future? Because I want to know. I'm here for you. I can't wait to see all of your DMs and comments. And I am excited about this year. I believe in you. I support you. And I'll see you tomorrow in episode 16. Thank you so much. And follow me at #365 days to a better you.